Adobe Creative Cloud plugins and integrations.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to have Andreas Michalski here with me as a guest today and to talk about the new CI Hub connector. Hello, Andy. How are you doing?
Hello, Ingo. It's amazing to be here. It's great.
Where is here? Where are you based?
Actually, CI Hub is a German-based company. Our head office is in Potsdam, which is quite close to Berlin. But marketing and most of the development happens here in Frankfurt am Main.
Frankfurt,
in the middle of Germany. Yep.
So the central hub.
Yeah, that's right.
In Germany or Europe.
Exactly.
Perfect. And with the iHub, you have founded a new startup with more than 25 years of experience. How does this go together?
Okay. Yeah, actually, the team that founded CI Hub is, we are working really long with Adobe together. We started with InDesign 1.5, which is 20 years ago. And our goal was always to have a marketing automation platform. And actually, we've built it together, a product which was called Ibrams. And that was a core web-to-print product based on the InDesign server. And after successfully selling that off to a French company, we thought, wouldn't it be cool if we take everything what we know and build a new company? And that's actually, all of that goes into CI Hub. Okay,
perfect. Yeah, and this is also why the two of us, we know each other since 15 plus years, back from all these days with InDesign automation and brand management. And so this was good to see what you come up now with a fresh idea. And what does CI Hub stand for? What is the abbreviation meaning?
So the core idea with CI Hub was it's a corporate identity hub, because we believe that you should have a very simple access to all of your assets and all of your corporate informations. In the first phase of our project, it's more a content integration hub, because what we do in the moment is we connect to all of the gazillion ways you can store your assets, and you have a single point of access to all of them with the CI Hub connector.
Okay, and this probably is also the kind of value proposition. I think you brought us a few slides. Perhaps we can look at them and see what this really means.
So the basic idea behind the CI Hub connector is that, and we have one access to all your digital ecosystem. You know that. As of today, and imagine you're an agency, you maybe have your data in a Dropbox, or you get your stock photos from Adobe Stock or from Getty Images, or your customer has Adobe CC Library as a system, or an Aprimo system, or a Widen system. So you have lots of places where your assets are, and all of these assets are needed to do your work. So it's a lot of hassle to go through all of these systems. So our idea was, why don't develop a connector that lives in your InDesign or your Photoshop or your Illustrator, your After Effects, your Premiere Pro, your InCopy, all of your Microsoft Word, your Google Word, Figma, Sketch, and all of that. And you access the assets you need for your work directly from within the product. And this saves so much time and gives so much abilities in control that we thought we develop a connector that exactly does that. And this is actually what we do since a year. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a little bit on what we do with Creative Cloud libraries already, where we also give you access whether you need these assets in your Creative Cloud Pro apps like InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator, or you want to build up a presentation in PowerPoint or Google Presentations, for example. But next to Creative Cloud libraries, you connect so many more asset and DAM systems.
Yeah. In the moment, you can have your assets in almost 50 different systems. And you can expect that by the end of 2020, we have the 100 relevant systems connected to our platform. And it doesn't matter where you have your asset, it's always simple to connect to it.
And do you have to decide for one of the systems, or can you have multiple systems that you connect with your connector at once?
No. I'm happy to show you that maybe a little bit later. You can freely connect to whatever system you want and to how many systems you want at the same time. And you can actually transparently switch between all of them. So you can have your corporate assets in your CC library, and maybe you get your stock assets from Adobe Stock. And if you're finished with your work, you share it with your agency or with your customer in a Dropbox. It's totally transparent.
Cool. That really sounds also like a big kind of enterprise system. Who is the target group for CI Hub Connector? Is this only enterprises?
No. Our product starts actually, and that's our original intention, for the single designer on his desktop. And this is also how our pricing model works. But it's also working for agencies. And, think about you're a designer in an agency and you have 10 customers. Then you have 30 different systems to connect to your assets. This is blazingly easy with CI Hub. And it's the big corporates. The large corporates come to us and say, we have pre-approved material in our DAM systems. And I would like that someone in PowerPoint has a really easy access to it. This is what we deliver.
Okay, sounds really interesting. Can we have a look on how this is working? Can you give us a short demo?
Yes, absolutely. Let me close my PowerPoint here and let me switch to my InDesign. So here is my InDesign. I assume you're all familiar with InDesign. This is the CI Hub plugin in here. You see, I always have it as a full-size plugin in here. The plugin comes from the Adobe Store, so it's one click and approximately a minute to install it. And then you can connect to whatever system you want. And you see, I'm connected to a dozen different systems. I have a binder system in my Dropbox here. I have a Getty Images. I have a Google Drive. So all of these systems are now available to me. And if I want to navigate through that, I'm here in my Dropbox. I see all of my folders. I just double click and go to my subfolders. I go to my images, can also go to my templates. And immediately I see all of my assets in here. I get these assets as a light table view. I can configure that in a way I want, make it bigger or smaller. I can also have a list view, so I see whatever is in my folder. And if I want to have that, and if I want to work with that asset, very easy for me to just double click on that asset. I see that asset. I see all the metadata of that asset. And if I want to have it in my InDesign, I just drag and drop it into my InDesign file here. Plus, I can also drag and drop all of my metadata into my InDesign file. So it's really easy to work with that in a simple way. Also, I have access to all of my versions. So if I double click on that asset, I see there are 3 different versions. I can scroll through these versions. I see the different ones. And if I want to use it again, drag and drop that asset. And here it is. So it's really simple on working with my asset in my system. But it offers a lot more. So imagine someone has changed that image in Photoshop. I can just go to my link panel, and in my link panel, that replaces some, or it enhances some of the Adobe functionalities. I see immediately that this asset here, comes with different versions, and I can now switch these assets. And I think, here it is. So I see, there are different versions of that asset. I just click on this one and tell the system, please replace the old version with the new version. I can decide if I want to have different renditions, low-res files, high-res files. I can easily switch between them. I just click on that button, and it will immediately replace my old asset with my new asset. And the cool thing about that, it doesn't matter if you're in InDesign, in Photoshop, in After Effects, or in Premiere Pro, the linking functionality works across all of the products. And this gives me the ability, which I normally only have in InDesign, into all of the Adobe product. And that makes designing really easy. If I'm finished with my work, I just go back to my folder structure here, and I save that InDesign file, and I can now just upload it back into my Dropbox. I just push the plus button. I select that InDesign file here. Oops, I select the InDesign file. I can make a decision if it should also upload the PDF, and I can select the PDF style it should use, or if I also would like to upload a package, and I can decide if the package should be with images and with a PNG first page, so I have an easy preview of my PDF files. And if I click on that OK button, that InDesign file and the PDF and the package will automatically be uploaded into my Dropbox. And now it's easy to share it with my colleagues or my agency. You see, it's really, really simple to work in that. And it doesn't matter if it's just InDesign. Let me just switch to my Photoshop here. It works completely in the same way if I'm here in my Photoshop. And in that case, let me show you one other cool feature. Let me go to my, let me go to my demo case here. Again, into my images, metadata images. And also here, I can drag and drop my files and my metadata into that document. And imagine, and I'll just show you that here, imagine you want to create or you want to open a file and you want to use that wing here, but I have used that wing for so many times already. Just show me on what alternative images which look similar to that one are available in Getty. And I just click on that button, and now I immediately get all the different results from Getty that are looking similar to the selected one. So it's really easy to navigate through your Adobe stock library or to other libraries and use assets, others also from other sources with a similarity search function in it. So pretty easy.
That seems to be easy and pretty cool. And well, guess what? I would search for similar images, of course, at a different vendor. I would like to search within Adobe Stock. How do I do this?
And this is easy as hell. Just click on the plus button, say, I would like to go to Adobe Stock and connect to your Adobe Stock library here. It's a complete secure open out to identification. So I'm now logging in with my Adobe ID into my Adobe Stock. System authorizes. Now I'm connected to Adobe Stock, and I immediately have access. And let me go to the full text search here to my full catalog of all my Adobe assets. Let me search for car. Let me search for car. Now it finds all images with car. You can also say, just deliver me videos or templates or 3Ds. I can select it and say, just give me images which have a car and are more yellow. And please also give me only the ones that have isolated assets. You see, it's really easy to select them. And now I have this wonderful JPEG image here. And if I would like to use this image, I just click on place and link. And now that Adobe Stock image will be placed in my Photoshop file. This is the easiest way you can work with your assets, we think, in Photoshop.
And this is also like you just signed in with your Adobe ID, which would mean this would also reflect your licenses that you have on Adobe ID.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
On Adobe Stock, I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. And if you already have purchased assets, they will also be automatically be shown. And you can also use assets that are already paid. You see, I have all license assets or my license assets, and you have immediately access to everything what you have pre-licensed, and you can just use that. Also, if you want to purchase this asset, let me just go back to that. I don't think that. Here. You can just click on that asset or on this one here, say open in browser. It brings you immediately to that asset within Adobe Stock, and it remembers your login. And if you want, you can purchase that asset. And then after the next click, your placed low-res asset will be automatically replaced with the purchased high-res asset. So it's really easy to navigate in your Adobe Stock library and work with these assets in your different applications. And again, if you're in Adobe Premiere Pro and you want to license a video snippet, same simple way to do it.
Okay, and if you are more the photographer type of guy and you have your own photo library in Lightroom, I saw that you can connect to Lightroom as well and just access your Lightroom library directly.
Absolutely, yeah. Here's your Adobe Lightroom. You can just click on that, and connecting to your Lightroom library is as easy as we saw before. Click on it. It brings you to your library. You authenticate, you access the system. That's it.
That's pretty cool. Perfect. And
takes 30 seconds and is completely in line with security and authorization, and gives you access to your corporate library as well and your corporate purchasing plans.
That's interesting. And as you showed earlier, so this is all available now within the Creative Cloud apps, but the same would be for the more creator community, so people building PowerPoint presentations and using those same assets that perhaps the designer has pre-selected. They can do the same thing in PowerPoint.
Absolutely. If I would like to replace that image here, I can just go to my add-ins here. I can just click on my CI Hub add-in. I get the same functionality in my Microsoft products. Let me see. I have the same access to my Adobe library, to my Adobe stock images, in the same way I have it in all the other programs.
Okay, so with that, we have a Adobe Lightroom to PowerPoint connector, which I was not aware of earlier.
Yeah, this would work. This would work in the same way. Just connect to my Lightroom data. That's it. Just click on plus, go to my Lightroom, log in, and I have immediately access to my Adobe Lightroom collection. And I can easily use that within PowerPoint or Word or Excel or Google Slides or wherever you want to have it.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Andy. I think this was really a very good start to get an overview on what CI Hub Connector is. And the two sides of this, one connecting to multiple asset systems, DAM systems and whatnot, and on the other hand, connecting to different design tools of different flavor. What's coming next? You said from those 50 integrations you already have, your customers might see the 100 integrations to the DAM systems. What other things can your users expect from CI Hub?
So one of the next big things what is coming is an Adobe Workfront integration. Because at the end, if I'm a designer, I would not just like to search through all of my libraries. I would like to have the job tickets, open my job ticket in Photoshop, get my assets that are associated to my Workfront ticket, do my job, and then upload it again into my Workfront workflow. This is something which is coming. There will be a print integration. So whenever you're in InDesign and you have created your PDF document, you push a button and say, print it in China 500 times. That will be completely integrated. And there is a lot more coming. Stay tuned. We are full of ideas on what we can do to make the life for the designers and creatives much easier.
Okay, I have two questions from an Adobe perspective. So we have seen that you already integrate with a bunch of Creative Cloud apps like InDesign, Illustrator, Photoshop, Premiere Pro, After Effects. I'm not sure if I forgot anything. I think that's it. But what I miss, at least, is what about Adobe XD and the new integration to Photoshop based on our new technology called UXP?
Yeah, we are actually just waiting for one additional function in that amazing UXP framework. And as soon as that's there, we will also release the XD version and the Photoshop version for the M1 platform.
Okay. Any estimate in time for that?
Well, my expectation would be the first quarter of this year.
Okay. Let's see if you can keep the promise. We're looking at that. But what would be your call to action now for the people watching us? What would be next steps for them?
Okay, we made it really easy for everybody. Just go to our website. You can download a free trial for whatever product you want. You can test and trial it. And then if you need any more additional information, we've tried to have lots of videos explaining every aspect and detail of the product. So on our website and on YouTube, there is a channel where we publish all of that stuff. Try it. Let us know if you're happy. And if you're happy, it starts at 99 cents. So it's easy to use all of these benefits.
Cool. And how long is the trial period?
The trial period is 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Okay, that's cool. So you can register here, download it, and test it for 4 weeks, and then decide whatever would be next steps.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Andy. Was great having you. And,
it was a pleasure being here.
To see what's coming next for CI Hub.
Thank you. Enjoy the day. Bye-bye, Ingo.
So do you. Bye-bye.